out of the window. That fly is never gonna leave. Hi guys! We're gonna do something a little different today because I just watched the cutest movie on Netflix. I want to share it so that other people can watch it and also go, it's so cute! We're gonna talk about Lost in Starlight. It's an animated movie, and if anyone hasn't seen it, I think it just came out on the 30th of May because it's June now. Start off in, of course, the future. On Mars in 2026, we see all the scientists that are out there collecting data, doing the terraforming, whatever it is that we're going to do on Mars, or we say we're going to do as humans on Mars. They're up there doing it. Sadly, we have a storm, earthquake, you don't really know right now, come through and just demolish the whole underground station that they have. And I'm not sure who goes. Somebody does. A little bit of screaming, some wreckage, crumbling, and then you see a person coming in the distance, seemingly right after. This is our main character. Her name is Nan Young, and I'm gonna continuously say her name so that I can continue to remember it. But our main character walks in. She's all in her spacesuit, and she's doing a simulation, but it's like 20 because the past expedition was carnaged, crushed, destroyed. And so she's in there trying to seemingly get some oxygen because she's about to run low on oxygen. She has to dig in the wreckage, find the tube, attach it to herself. But she starts to hallucinate, and you see this hand coming out. And she's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And you don't really know why she's freaking out. And it kind of does reach out towards her. You just hear someone like, do it, Nanyang, do it. And so she does it, and it says mission success. It was a simulation, you guys. It wasn't real. The expedition crashing in 2026 was real, but her little mission was not real. You can fast forward to 2020. No, not 2020. We're going to fast forward to 2051. I had to write it down. But present day 2051, i.e. Houston. After Nanyang finishes her, she gets her like successful mission prompt. She goes talking outside of the room with her captain, and she's like, I'm so excited to go on the second expedition. That's second expedition to Mars. Her mom was on the first expedition, and she sadly was the only person that scared me. Got long elbows. Don't. She was the only person who did not make it back. I believe that's what the captain said. And he's like, how are you feeling? You know, like your mom went missing. You were just a little thing. How do you feel about it? We think that you're traumatized, but you keep saying you're not. And she's like, Captain, no, I worked my whole life for this. And, I feel nothing. I feel nothing towards it. I want to go to Mars. It's my dream. And he's like, that's what's weird, Nanyang. He's like, the psych is worried about you because you're like, I don't care that my mom's not here. I don't care what happened to her. It does not bother me. I am a steel trap up here. The captain's like, uh-huh. Yeah, I'm not buying it. And even if it is true, that's a sign of something else. We're gonna talk about that later. The captain basically tells Nanyang, you go to Korea, you sit down, you're gonna be a backup because you're not cleared the way you need to be cleared. You're not going because you keep saying you don't care that what happened to your mother. So she can't. Apparently there's no room for everybody. Even though I can't imagine there's like a million astronauts waiting to go to space. Girl, move on. I mentioned Nan Young's mom. Sunji Young is her mom's name, and she's the one that was on the first expedition. Same thing, astronaut, same field, smart women, beautiful, whatever. And on the news, basically, you get the whole clarification of like the first expedition. There was a storm, it buried their base underground, and the only person who was lost was Nan Young's mom. You can understand. She's like, this is, like both my parents are in this field. This is what I want to do. And then on the other side, you're like, there's definitely something wrong. You should be feeling something, right? You did love your mom, and you were like a little tyke at the time. Now we're in Nanyang's apartment or home. She has this like BB-8 looking creature robot that she created, and that's kind of what her contribution is, besides being a smart astronaut. Works on this thing, and it detects and scans for other life forms within like a good span of space. She has one of these things that she wakes up, it floats around her room. She's talking to her bestie, and the thing flies at her, and she kind of freaks out, and then she ends up running into like this shelf she has that's full of the stuff that's from her mom and her dad. This turntable falls down. Yeah, so it's broken. It's like something that was her mom's, all the like the little trinkets and stuff. So Nanyang spends the next day, I believe, just going to different workshops and trying to get her turntable fixed. Like she's like, I really want to get this fixed, no matter that she keeps saying she doesn't feel bad or really miss her mom, but she wants to get the turntable fixed. So she went to one shop, no, another one, no, another one, no. Nanyang's been to like 6 different places, and she is feeling bummed out. She can't find anyone that says they can fix it or attempt to fix the turntable. And she kind of stops in front of this holographic ad, and she's just standing there for a minute. And then she's like, okay, well, I'll go. I'll keep walking, pump myself up. I'm going to keep trying. And then as she's walking, she bumps into Jay on her way down. He catches her like the little prince that he is. He is like, I'm so sorry, I'm in a rush, in a hurry. He's picking up his things. Her stuff fell, of course. So he saw the record player, and he's like, hey, I can fix that. Bet. He's like, here's my card. Oh, just come to my shop. Come to my shop. I can fix that. I know exactly what it is. I can fix it. I promise you. And so the following part of the day, probably in the evening now, she goes over to this shop and she finds it. And she goes in, and the people are kind of like, oh, who are you here for? You cute little young thing or whatever. Heckling is the word. And she's like, I'm here for Jay, and Jay's also young too. So they're like, ooh, Jay, is that your girlfriend?
Nope.
Little do they know, she's not yet. No, he's like, no, she's a customer. Be professional. I can fix this. I can fix this for you. And she's like, okay, well, what do you need? And he's like, here, just write your name and number down on this notepad, and I will call you when it's fixed. Because he's got this. Jay is the winner. She's looking at that pen and paper, like, what do I do with this? And he's like, here, just write down your name and number. He's like, here, you click it.
Wow.
Then she writes it down, and he's like, okay, cool. And then the next scene, Nanyang's best friend, her BFF, is like, so primitive. I love it. Yeah, the ones who ask for your number, not your Snapchat or Instagram. Those are the men we're looking for. So Nanyang is really just like, yeah, he's cute, but I have Mars things on my mind. I don't have time for this. Nanyang is working really hard because her bestie is like, if you want to come to Mars, we have to figure out a way for you to come to Mars. So this scene, they're basically just talking about what can you do that's going to boost you past just passing your psych eval and just passing your like mission complete. She's capable. It's just you're just there. What she's working on is, again, I'm going to call him Mars BB-8 because that thing is BB-8. I'm pretty sure she has a name for it. I'm going to call it BB-8. And she's trying to just upgrade it pretty much so that it has better scanning capabilities and it can just work, maybe not at 100%, but at least get it to like 90 to 99 somehow. Just get it as best as she can before they have to leave for Mars. All of a sudden, she gets a text message from Jay. Loud! The loudest fly! I don't want to smash you, man, but if you're gonna be that loud while I'm recording, I will. Jay is out with his boss, and his boss is asking him, when are you gonna get back into music? Like, you don't need to be a whatever they're called, repairman or something. For the rest of your life, you're gonna end up like me, and you have such talent. And Jay's like, beating around the bush with his answer. He's like, what's so bad about being like you? This is fine. I'm good with this. And then, his boss is like, whatever, dude, you're young, but like you're gonna regret it one day. And he's like, no, 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 no. I'm good. I'm good, bro. Jay looks over and he sees a news ad of Nanyang. He's like, wow, she's famous. I'm a little impressed. Hello. That's the man right there. Jay is the guy. That's why I am Nanyang. I am telling her story right now. And I am a smart astronaut. Okay, we're gonna move on. Kind of get a few scenes where there's a montage going on of Nanyang getting her running, getting just sitting at the computer, doing the hologram stuff, really trying to get Mars BB-8 up to speed so that she I scared myself. My elbows. I need to like angle myself so she can get Mars BB-8 up to speed before they leave for not NASA. Before NASA leaves for Mars. So she's running herself ragged and everything, and he kind of ends it with this, I would say, needy email to the captain. talking about like I'm working really hard at this, and I just hope that you'll pick me to go to Mars with everybody else. I'm really looking forward to it, and blase blase. And I'm not saying she's a pick me girl, but this is just that instance where you're like, this is my whole life. Please, Captain, please take me with you. Professionally needy email. Perfect. Does it work? Not really. So after this email was sent, she gets a text message and it's from Jay. It's from our Jay, and he's just like, "Hey, I found the parts. Meet me here. We're gonna be done after today." Of course, we get there. The guy's like, "Oh no, sorry, this part doesn't work. So maybe next time. I'm sorry, guys, I couldn't help you." And Young and Jay are standing there like,
hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
they look so sad. Like they're both like, "Oh, so you just lied." At that point, they're both sad and they're kind of moping back home down the street. And Nanyang's like, "Thank you, sir, for trying." And Jay's like, "Hey, don't call me sir, call me Jay. Like we're friends at this point." And she's like, "Are we though?" Fine. She's like, "It's fine. This turntable doesn't even mean anything to me. It's not even mine. I want it back." And he's like, "But isn't that your name on the front of it?" "Yes, but it was my mom's." And he's like, "See, that's why we have to fix it." And then she's like, I don't know. Like I want to fix it, but I want to pretend like I don't want to fix it." And he's like, "Why don't we get some ramen?" And she agrees. So they're sitting down having a good slurpy meal. He's like, stop calling me sir, call me Jay. We're friends. We're having a meal together. Obviously, at this point, Jay is straight up like, I'm gonna court this woman. He's gonna shoot his shot, and he is, and it's not like it's not working. It's just Nanyang is like, "I want to go to Mars, Jay. I don't have time for you, Jay." We'll see how long that lasts. Okay. So she's like, "You know what? If you meet me again, you can call me by my name." And she leaves and she's trying to be all mysterious. And then the rain starts. And then she's walking away. It starts to rain. She doesn't have an umbrella, so she kind of just stops and she stares like, what do I do? And of course, Jay comes up with his clear umbrella and he's like, "Nanyang, this is our third time meeting. I can call you by your name." Dork. And that's all with all the love in the world. Because women like dorks. It worked out. It worked. She started cracking up and giggling, and he's trying not to be embarrassed because he knows what it sounded like, but it worked. So right? If it works, don't fix it. So we're gonna fast forward again to the workplace, the the shop that Jay works at, looking at her turntable next to the one that he has, but the one that he has is a little bit newer. It's not as old, but basically the parts are the same. And he's like, I tried really hard to find this and I found it. So he was like, "I think these parts could work for this one. It has to be systematically the same." He's like, "Do you just want to try out the one that's not broken?" Whatever, because Nanyang was like, "Hey, can we listen to music on it?" And he's like, "Of course you can." And so he's like, "What do you want to listen to?" And he's flipping through these vinyls, like, "What do you listen to, Nanyang? Let me woo you with some music." And she just goes, "Bleep, bloop, Bluetooth connected." He's like, "You modern age woman, you have a working turntable and you're connecting it to Bluetooth?" And so she starts playing this demo song and she's like, "I love this song." She's like, "Ooh, Jay, I love this song. I listened to it all the time when I was studying and I was in grad school." And Jay's just over there and he's kind of frozen. And he's like, "There's no way." And she's like, "Do you know this song?" "Oh my gosh, Jay, I love this song. Do you know anything about the artist or anything?" "I can never find anything about it." And he's like, "I deleted it after I posted it years ago, and I didn't think anybody would ever find it." RJ is an artist. He is a musician. He can sing and play the guitar. The guitar. And Young is like, "This is you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I've either seen like a stalker. This is just divine timing." He goes outside and he sings for her. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not really a sing to me serenading type of gal. I'm not that gal. But that was sweet. He sings for her, and then she's like, "Oh my gosh, I love it, I love it, I love it." And then he kind of gets that musician's bug back. Bug. Oh, the fly's like, but she's just bombarding him with questions. Nanyang is like, "What happened? And how much do you sing? Why don't you sing in front of people? Did you ever do it live?" And he's like, "That's a lot of questions, Nanyang. I don't want to answer any of those." And she embarrassed herself because she's like, "Oh, I'm honored that you did that for me." And then, of course, she's like, "Why would I say that? That's so freaking weird." It worked for Jay though, because he had a little inspiration. He was sitting outside thinking about Nanyang liking him and liking his music and his voice and everything. Even though he's a performer, it's just the one part is singing in front of other people. So that really she kind of helped him find that again. He's sitting outside looking at this beautiful hologram of like space and planets and stuff. And if we ever get there in my time where I look like this, that's what I'm doing every night. So we talked about Nanyang's mom. We need to briefly talk about her dad because she goes to visit her dad. He's at this like living place. It's a facility, but it's not like the ones we have now. He is kind of mumbling to himself and he kind of seems out of it. You don't really know if you don't really know what's wrong with him. Anyways, and she's like, "Hey, Dad, I'm here," and he just doesn't stop mumbling to himself or anything. And she touches him on the shoulder, and he kind of moves away, and then keeps doing what he's doing. So Nanyang, she's sad and everything, but she loves her dad. But dad will come back again. I just wanted to bring that up because you do see him, but you don't really get we don't really get the answer of what's going on with him or maybe with what happened to him until later. Following that meeting with her dad, Nanyang goes to like a press conference or something like that, or maybe it's just like a news interview. She's being asked all these questions, and of course the ones about NASA and Mars and what they're doing with like the BB-8 and everything. That's she answers it just fine. They do know her mom perished in on Mars, not in Mars, but on Mars in the first expedition in 2026. Of course, they have to ask like, this is a sensitive question, but how do you feel about your mom's situation? I mean, like your mom and your dad technically, because we know your dad's a little out of it too. So she starts having kind of like a moment. You see like a lot of glitching and fritzing out going on, and she starts like hyperventilating. And Jay happens to see this um newscasting and he can realize that she's stressing out. She's there's something going on where she starts kind of like wringing her hands together. She's stressed. My girl is stressed. After the whole news interview, Nanyang is driving home. Driving. They have those cars. Oh well, it's Teslas basically. Man, I just don't have one. My bad. She's in a self-driving car. That's what I was gonna say. While she's driving home, Jay texts her and he's like, "Hey, you want to get a drink? You want to go get some ramen? It's late. Meet me here." Nanyang is sad right now after that lady just brought up all her baggage on the news. So they get together, they have a drink, and Jay is like, "Hey, let me go get us another one." And she's like, "I'll go with you. I can't let you get kidnapped with your cute self." She's asking him about like his music because he's like, "Hey, if you're sad, you can talk to me. If you're comfortable with that." And she's like, "Hmm, can I ask you a question?" And she's asking him about music and everything. And he's like, "I guess I'm just waiting for my inspiration to come back." And so Nanyang kind of does this little stickman crab walk. She does that, but towards him, like, "Look, your inspiration came back." And he's like, because, it was a really cute moment, but not when I said it. She's like, "I just kind of I want to be like a special person, I want to go to Mars. There's the very few special people that get to go to Mars." And Jay's like, "Nanyang, I think you're very special. You don't have to go to Mars to be special. You're special right here, right in front of me." And she's like, "Jay, I know what you're doing. The compliments, being nice to me. I know what you're doing. And it won't work. I want to go to Mars. I want to go to Mars, Jay. So stop hitting on me because I like you too." Literally, basically. That's basically the conversation that is had. First, he's like, "What are you talking about, Nanyang?" And she's like, "Ugh, Jay, no, we can't do that. I have to focus, and you are a distraction. You're a distraction, Jay. We're not doing it. We're not, no commitments." And he's like, "Commitments? What are we committing to, Nanyang?" Oh, hold on, I have to concentrate. And of course, he's doing like the male Prowley thing when they're like, "I know you like me, and I know you know that I like you. Why don't we just do something about it?" And you're like, "I said no." And they just start having a really giggly, a great moment. And this man puts his head out the window and is like, "Hey, you don't own this building. Shut up." They're like, "I'm so sorry, sir." And they kind of run up the stairs together and they get on the elevator. And it's a really heat and intense. Well, it's it's a really cute and intense moment, and it's kind of and they share their first kiss. It is unbelievably heart-thumpingly cute. So at this point, they're basically a couple. They go on little dates. They go to this like a music shop, and which by the way is a cute idea for a date. And in the next scene, they go to the woods to meet Nanyang's Dad because it is Nanyang's birthday. They're in the woods, and Dad has all this stuff set up. He has this giant freaking antenna, and she's like, and Nanyang is telling Jay like, my dad's just trying to send out a message to someone on Mars, to see if anybody will answer. And Jay goes, he's trying to talk to your mom, huh? Like, yes, he's trying to uh, send a message to my mom. He does it every year on my birthday. It's just what we do. So, in the next scene, Nanyang's having this nightmare because her and Jay go to this conservatory, and I guess it blends into the next day. And her nightmare is basically her as a toddler, the same age when her mother left for Mars, and she's basically just reaching out like, "Mommy, no, don't go to Mars." I don't mean to laugh, sorry. And so kind of like her mental psyche, her subconsciousness is breaking down. Like Nanyang wakes up and she's has tears, coming down her face, and Jay is coming up the stairs because they spent the night together. She just rather forget. So he just has a motion. I'm gonna cheer her up. So he opens the blinds extra wide, and then of course he sees this little conservatory of flowers outside her room. That was a really fast spoken sentence. It's like I call them self heating yellow daisies. That's what they look like to me, but they have a whole name. I wrote it down. Give me 1 second. Adonis amurensis. There you go. Self-eating yellow daisies. I went and got me a smoothie. The whole process of Jay trying to cheer her up after she had this nightmare, Nanyang actually comes to like a realization of what to do with Mars BB-8 to get the scanning capabilities for the whole life form stuff up to the standards that it needs. At this point, she's so excited. She's like, I did it. Maybe I can go to Mars, but it's just not for sure yet. To celebrate, they go to this restaurant, and Nanyang's like, "You sure you don't want anything to drink? We're celebrating. Everything's on me. Woo!" And then there's a band that's playing live at the restaurant. The best places have live music. I feel sweaty. I do. I feel sweaty. Okay, there's a band playing live at this restaurant, and I think Jay knows this band. And what turns out to be is he's hurriedly trying to leave the restaurant, and Nanyang is confused because she's like, "Hey, you don't normally act like this. What's going on?" And he does know the band, and the lead singer woman comes up to him and is like, "Hey, are you gonna come back?" And Jay's like, "No, no, I don't need this." And he's thinking about it and everything. And then Nanyang gets this phone call. It's call headquarters. Call headquarters. There's a chip right here implanted. She literally puts a chip right here. She hits the button. Then she's just like, "Oh my gosh, I made it! I'm in." He actually is not allowed to tell him until they do like the press release of who exactly is going to Mars. So I think at this point we're definitely halfway done with the movie. And now we start picking up on a little bit of that relationship drama or just life in relationship merging together drama. Nanyang goes to her job and they're like having their last toast, like, "Yeah, cheers, you guys going to Mars." And then she's like, "Hey, um, whatever, chief director of social media, whatever it is, when can we like tell our family and friends, like when is it being released to the public so I can tell my family and friends so they won't hear of it through the grapevine of this social media?" Tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow. And then Nanyang's like, "Okay, cool." She walks away with some other people, and the lady's like, "Oh wait, Nanyang, actually I think it's tonight." And then she's just like, "Oh, she's having a good time. I won't bother Nanyang. She's having a great time." Even though she just asked me a very important question that's going to cause a lot of drama with her and her boyfriend in a few minutes. Jay goes to Nanyang's house, and then he tidies up her place, and he has a surprise for her because he fixed the turntable. You guys remember the turntable we mentioned like in the beginning of the movie? So he fixed the turntable by destroying the one that he had, and he's like, "Oh, I should like put some music in there so when she's coming home it could be playing music." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's fixed. I love you." Hugs, kisses. Mwah, mwah, mwah. He goes to her shelf and he starts siphoning through the vinyls. He picks up one and a piece of paper falls out. Literally like a piece of notebook paper falls out, and it's got a drawing on it from baby Nanyang. And she there's also a QR code on it. So he's like, "Okay, cool." On the QR code is the last video from her mom from the beginning of the movie when the storm happened, when the first expedition was buried. So he literally sees her being like, "Oh, my beautiful daughter, I miss you. Look at our plans. Look what's going on. Make sure you brush your teeth." Everybody else is like, "Hi, Nanyang, little girl. You're doing great. Your mommy loves you." and then you just get all these flashing lights and you hear the rumbling and then you see the accident happen and Nanyang's mom goes down with all the rubble and everything. Jay watched it. Now he's freaking out. He's like, if my girlfriend goes to space, this is what's going to happen to her. I'm going to lose her forever. I'm going to lose her forever. So then he starts to freak out because of that. And then right after that, the news plays. Um, these are people going to Mars, and Nanyang is on the list, obviously. And then Nanyang is on a train, and she doesn't notice at the moment. She's on her way back home, but she doesn't notice at the moment that people are looking at her like, "Is that her? Is that her?" And then she tries to call Jay. He doesn't answer, but she looks up and sees on the news that they just announced she's one of the people going to Mars indefinitely. And so she gets home and she does not handle it the best way in my opinion, she does not handle it the best way. But basically the argument goes with like, goes, if you go to Mars, you're going to end up like your mother. I'm not going to end up like her. That is a once in a billion chance, and it just happened to happen to my mom. He's panicking, she's being selfish, and they're both not wrong. That fight went through, and they kind of go some time without communicating. Not a very long time, because you can just tell both of them are struggling. That's all we're gonna say. They're both struggling, as you would imagine if you were in a relationship. You really love this person, or you're developing into that stage of like to love. That's kind of where they are. Hold that thought. Jay happens to find her bestie online. Kind of set up this little thing where it's literally the day that they're going to leave for Mars, and he just pops up outside of Nanyan's room, and it's so cute. It's such a cute moment. And she sees Jay outside, and Jay just opens his arms and he's like, come on, come on, come hug me. She's going into space now with everybody else. And they go up there and everything. And on their way to Mars, nothing happens. Everything is great. And they're going back and forth and they're hologramming each other and messaging, FaceTime what. And when she gets to Mars, she's like, oh, not when we're on Mars, it's going to be really difficult. We're really not going to be able to talk to each other. Antenna's getting fixed up. It's trying to unbury stuff to get the equipment out, I guess, so they can use it. I don't know. Young is like, hey, my Mars BBA picked up a scan, like it scanned the area and it's picking up life form scans. I need to go over to where Expedition 1 was, but that's like 2 hours away. The captain's like, granted, go ahead and go. Nothing should happen. There and back immediately. That's it. Jump over to Jay real quick before we get to that part. Jay is with his band again, his old band, and he's kind of testing the waters yet again. And they're like, hey, if you want to come back with us and you want to perform your song with us, but you want to sing it, you need to sing in front of people for this to work. So he's like, okay, I'll do it. I promise you I'll do it. So they're live in front of people, and he's kind of choking up. He's going through it. To be a musician and you have social anxiety, it must be wild. He's like, uh, I, it's not coming out. He's kind of stuck. Like he's like, it's not happening. Then he sings, and it sounds amazing. And then back to Nanyang. She is Mars BBA kind of runs away from her after it does a scan when she gets like that 2 hours away, and then it scans again, and then she sees one of the rovers from Expedition 1. It scans it, and it's like, hey, something's going on with that. Let's go look at it. And Mars BBA just like, he's gone. And so she goes to the rover, and next to the rover is this gigantic crater in Mars. And I'm guessing that's where the Expedition 1 um, base was. Nanyang sees this gigantic crater, and she's trying to tell HQ there's a gigantic crater out here. I'm gonna go in. She's gonna go literally cave spelunking into that freaking thing that she can't see the bottom of. And she does. Her bestie and the captain are like, there's a tornado coming. Tornadoes on Mars. They're trying to tell Nanyang, like, hey, can you hear us? Get the freak out of there. There's a tornado coming. And then she's like, I can't hear you guys. I'm going down in the cave. I think I'm going to go see what's going on. Over and out. And they're like, I don't think she can hear us.
Nobody can hear anybody.
The storm does hit. And Nanyang's rope that's connected to the rover she drove over to the crater just lets go. Like it goes from taut to... And she's just falling. Of course, it would be nice if she was falling straight down the middle of the crater. No, she hit the side. She's banging her head up against like the helmet. She's got these bruises, and then it kind of stops at some point. but then I think it just breaks. She has bruises and scratches on her face, and her helmet is cracked. As far as I know, there's nothing broken. She's got like 7%, less than 10% of oxygen left in her suit. And of course, when she hits the bottom, she passes out. Whenever they realize the storm hit and they cannot get a hold of Nanyang at all, they already told headquarters she's missing. She's officially missing. They can't get a hold of her, and there's a storm, and we cannot see her, we cannot hear her, she cannot hear us. So, of course, everybody back in Korea hears about it, including Jay, right after he does this performance in front of everybody and did a freaking good job. But then he starts to freak out and he's like, no, not my girlfriend. And then he just like freaking flashes his way down the street to her dad's house. He wants to try to get her. He's like, you cannot die out there. I cannot handle that. I just, I can't. So then he gets the things, he goes outside, it's pouring rain, so it's a really dramatic part of the movie. He has a walkie talkie and he's just trying to get a hold of Nanyang. When Nanyang gets her consciousness back, she's got 7% of oxygen left in her suit. And, she's battered and bruised, but like I said, I don't think anything's broken because she is able to get up and lumber her way to the somewhere. She can't go back up out of the crater, so she's just going to follow it. And this is why I think that crater was where the first expedition was, because it already has like a tunnel system. So she puts some duct tape over the plexiglass, her helmet, already at 7%. So if she doesn't get out like right now, they're losing faith. Her best friend and the captain are losing faith that they can kind of get her out in enough time. Remember, they're still 2 hours back. So the best friend is like, we have to go get her, we have to go get her. And she's like grabbing shovels and trying to go get her. And the captain's like, no, go open and read her last words videos that they created before they left. They just all had to do it just in case you don't come back. And so the best friend goes in there and she's crying, bawling her eyes out. Nanyang's message to Jay, and it's just so heartwarming, you guys. It's a really nice message. And she's like, if this did happen, it's going to be tough, and do not make it stop you from what you're supposed to do, who you are. Continue with your music, be who you are, and you remember you always have a fan in Starlight. This whole part, she's just saying like how much Jay means to her. Like she's like, you are an oasis for me. Nanyang gets this moments of thinking about Jay, and again and so she gets a little bit of burst of energy. She gets up and she like again clambers her way through the dark, and she kind of has a little bit of like her life is flashing before her eyes and hallucinations. Can't blame the girl, she's low on oxygen. She makes her way to this rail, and it's like where Expedition One, or the station for Expedition One was. She made it, so she goes in there, and again, she's still out of oxygen pretty much at this point. She goes in there. There's the systems in there, and then she kind of ends up just like falling out. She falls on our uh, self-heating yellow daisies. There's just a bunch of them in there, and they're all fully, the ones that her mom must have been holding on to must have just gotten loose and planted, and she falls on them and she's kind of just lying there, and then she's like, it's really warm. Her helmet comes off and she slowly gets more and more oxygen back in her system, and it seems to be working, and you can hear Nanyang sobbing slash whatever like on the radio, and then eventually he hears her and he's like, Nanyang, Nanyang, is that you? Are you alive? Oh my. But she ends up telling him, Jay, I'm okay, I'm gonna come home, and I just wanted to tell you that I love you. And oh my gosh, it's just a moment like that. And then that's pretty much what really happens. It kind of fades out from there, and the ending scene, if you made it this far, the ending scene is just her back on Earth, obviously, in that same alley in Korea. He's running down the stairs and everything, trying to get to her, and she's watching, again, another holographic ad. She walks through it, and then Jay's on the other side, and he's breathing heavy, and his face is flushed, and then her face is flushed, and then she does what he does, and she just puts her arms out. He's like, come here, and then they just hug it out, and oh, it's so sweet. It's such a sweet movie. Like it didn't end tragically, and I was worried at one point it was going to. Guys, I thought it was amazing, and hopefully I didn't butcher it going through the whole thing. I kind of didn't say every little detail just because it's better if you go watch it and see those things for yourself. But go ahead and go watch it for yourself. Thank you so much for, sticking around through this video. Leave a comment below if you've seen this. See you next time. Bye. After Nanyon gets thrown in the crater, BB-8 is fine. Like, he's floating around. He doesn't have a scratch. Must be nice. Must be nice to be a machine in the future.